Don't judge a book by its cover.
Screw that. Let's have some fun.
Let's play You Look Like the Person Who Would.
She looks like she would think the world is all about her.
She would pay for skinned sheep for her own feet.
Yeah, and not want to see how it's made.
These guys look like the type,
That you laugh at.
trying too hard to be cool.
And they're not, unless if they're being a caveman.
This guy looks like the type who would force himself on a horse.
And without consent. Be like, get it off me!
This guy looks like the type who just got his GED.
Out of a Cracker Jack box.
Nice mullet. This looks like the type of guy who is an incel.
Wait, he basically is. It's Elon Musk. He paid for the women just like he paid for his hair plugs.
12 kids and counting?
This woman looks like she would be a Karen, complaining that her and her 8 kids don't get enough free stuff from the government.
And doesn't know about birth control.
Or that humans doubled in 50 years and killed off 69% of wildlife.
This one looks like the type who's going to explode.
And like she's trying to start her own Jonestown cult, all on her own.
These parents seem like the type
Who believe in having leashes for the overpopulated, destructive brats.
This looks like the type of guy who wishes he used birth control.
And this looks like a kid who agrees with him only about that.
Condoms prevent minivans.
This looks like the type of guy who is confused what sport he is in. He looks like he's about to run, but that would be hard carrying all those guns. Oh wait, he's a vegan.
He's the type of guy who would be grunting at the gym.
And hurting every animal eater and drinker's ego.
This looks like a coward trying to be Rambo.
Even worse, it's the draft dodger Ted Nugent.
These look like the type of guys who couldn't make a sports team growing up.
So they shoot innocent animals to try and act macho.
Looks like half of them can't even do a sit-up.
This looks like the type of guy who
cries because his team lost.
such important stuff. Not that humans have doubled in 50 years and killed off 69% of wildlife, like those poor eagles.
This looks like the type of guy who you can't tell if he's crying or excited.
This looks like the type of guy who you can't tell if he is mad or praying, like Tim Tebow.
This looks like the type of man who's a con man.
Or like he's trying to hypnotize people with those crazy eyes and stare.
Maybe it's the devil in him.
All that gluttony and greed. They forgot shellfish is a sin. Or who's a Sino, Christian in name only.
This looks like the type of guy who gave all his money to Joel Osteen.
He's trying to buy his way into heaven rather than be a good person.
This is the type of guy
Who would pray over his tortured, dead animal that he's about to eat for gluttony.
This looks like the type of guy who is gay.
But he likes to eat hot dogs made of dogs and sausages.
And won't leave animals alone.
Like a coward cowboy beating up on animals.
This looks like the type of guy
Who you shouldn't trust around children.
or animals
He's force breeding or artificially inseminating.
for your cow titty juice.
This looks like the type of perv.
Who likes his bodily fluids raw.
And also doesn't ask for consent. And the cow is like, get it off me, utter suckler.
This looks like the type of guy who's looking for attention.
And is lacking something, trying to overcompensate.
Insecure little boy.
This looks like the type of guy who will eat anyone or anything.
How far along is she?
They're not pregnant, and it's a guy. Ooh.
This looks like the type of guy who
An EMS guy who would rather pose for a picture and doesn't care because the guy gave himself a heart attack.
he's still scared of his vegetables.
This looks like the type of guy who belongs in a cartoon.
As a cruel caveman.
Davy Crockett or the Flintstones.
This looks like the type of guy who has a mental illness.
And doesn't believe in thou shalt not steal from the animals.
This looks like the type of person who
Will go on to be a serial killer and a taxidermist to animals.
even as a child, the signs were there.
This looks like the type of person who would find
People delicious.
cannibals. If we weren't made to be eaten, we wouldn't be made of meat.
This looks like the type of person who
Has no purpose or goals in life. Collecting dead animal skins, be it sneakers, women's shoes, handbags.
or gnomes and stamps like an old man.
Crazy old man. At least they're not collecting bones and animal heads.
Or the type who's a Walmart greeter.
And bored with his life.
They look like the type
Who would be litter bugs and leave the plastic to be ingested by sea life and killing dolphins and whales. Hope you liked our game.